Hi guys, okay, this is paper 1 again, May 2018 again, but this is the OR paper. It's 1H OR, H for higher, OR stands for regional paper. Basically there's different papers for different time zones, so anyway, it's the very same standard. Opening page, formula sheet, and here we go. Work out the what is this? Here is a hexagon. CD is parallel to AF. Fine, work out the area of the hexagon. Okay, so a few different ways you could do this. You could split it up into maybe triangles and rectangles, but the way they want you to do it is to notice that this is a trapezium here. So because this is parallel, I can say this is a trapezium, this length is 20. So this shape here is a trapezium, and this shape here below is a rectangle. So the area of the trapezium, let's just call it a trap. Guys, in your formula sheet, it gives you the area of a trapezium. It's half a plus b times h. So it's a half a plus b times h. Now you need to know what is a and what is b. Well, they are the parallel lines. Remember, trapezium is a quadrilateral four-sided shape that has two parallel sides. A and b are the parallel sides, so it's 20 and 16. Obviously it doesn't matter if you do 16 plus 20. And then h is this height. So this height here, if this height is 14, and this 24 goes with this dotted line, this has to be 10, because look, the total, maybe I should draw that again just to be clear. This length is 24, there it is there. So, and this length is 14, so that has to be 10. So this, the h is 10. And then we can do this with you can do this with your calculator if you want. I'm going to do it in my head. This will give me a half of 36 is 18. 18 times 10 is 180. So the trapezium is 180. And the rectangle area of, let's call it rect, is equal to 20 times 14, length times breadth or height. 20 times 14, which is 280. The total then, total equals 180 plus 280, which is 460. And down here, I'll write 460. Okay, 4 marks, opening question. To be fair, not actually that easy. Okay. Table gives information about times in hours some students do spend doing sport. An estimate for the mean, correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, so you should be getting used to these types of questions, guys. I need the midpoint. Midpoint of this, middle of this is 1, middle of this is 3, 5, 7, and 9. Don't assume it's a pattern, guys, even though it is a pattern. Then I do m times f. M times f is 5 times 1 is 5. 9 times 3, 27. 24 times 5 is 120. 40 times 7, 280. And 7 times 9, 63. Use your calculator if you want. The mean is then equal to 5 plus 27 plus 120 plus 280 plus 63 over, this is the mistake everyone makes, guys. Lots of people go divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's 5 people, but there isn't 5 people. There's loads of people. There's this plus this plus this plus this plus this. So we need to add up all these numbers. 14, 38, 78, 85. So the total, that total is actually 85. And that I'm going to do with the calculator. 5 plus 27 plus 120 plus 280 plus 63 is that divided by 85. 5.8235. 5.8235. He says correct to 1 decimal place, so we put 5.8. Okay, question 3. Reflect triangle S in the line y equals x. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do, guys, is draw the line y equals x. Y equals x goes through 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 0, 0. It's a perfect diagonal line. And we're going to reflect this in this line. So guys, go to each point, like here, and reflect it. So we go to the line and across the same amount, directly across. This guy goes over 1 box, goes over 1 box. This guy, 1.5, a half, and 1. Here we go. So this is the new triangle, and it says label it or. So I'm going to call that or. Part B, translate S by the vector -5, -6 and label it T. So, sorry, -4, -6. So we need to go -4, -6. So pick, well, you can pick each corner, but you could even just do the top. It's going to look exactly the same. It's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's left 4, down 6. Left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was the top of the triangle. So we just draw the exact same triangle. Let me draw that slightly better. Exact same triangle, but that's the top bit. I'm going to label this triangle T, and that's it. If you want to look at the other points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they work because you've drawn it in the right place. Okay, that's question 2. Sorry, question 3. Question 4. Anna, Lionel, sharing their money, right? This question, guys, is very familiar. We do 4 plus 5 is 9. So we're going to make this into 9 parts. 675 divided by 9. Use your calculator if you want. It's going to go 7, remainder 4 is 5, so it's 75. And then it says, hang on a second, Lionel gives 3/5 of his share to his mother, right? So wait a second, let's get Lionel's share first. I'm going to do 5 times 75. That gives me 375. Again, use your calculator if you want. And then it says he gives 3/5 of this, so I need to get 3/5 of 375. Right, that I'm going to use my calculator, guys. It's 375 times 3/5, so it's 225. That is how much money he is going to give his mother. So first, share it in the ratio 4 to 5, but we only care about the 5 one. That's Lionel, so he has this, and then gets 3/5 of Lionel's money and give it to his mother, 225. Done. Part 5. Question 5. Ali thinks that the value of E will be a prime number for any whole number value of n. Is he correct? Give a reason for your answer. The answer is no. He is definitely not correct, because for this type of question, all we need, this is called proof by contradiction. All we need to do is show just one number where he's wrong. And the two obvious numbers that I can think of is 5 or 10 or 15 are actually a multiple of 5, because when if n equals 5, then e equals 5 squared, 25, plus 5 is 30, plus 5 is 35. That is not a prime number, which is not prime. So you can always just, I think the mark scheme says try 1, then try 2, then try 3, then try 4, then try 5, until you get to a number that's not a prime number. But I chose 5 because I knew, here's 5. So this is going to be a multiple of 5, this is going to be a multiple of 5, and this is a multiple of 5. So when you add them, you're just going to get a multiple of 5. If you chose 10, you'd have 10 squared plus 10 plus 5, which is 115. That's also not a prime. So there's plenty of numbers that are not prime. Okay, question 6. A, B, C, and D, E, F are parallel. BG equals BE, so they are equal. Find the size of angle ABG. So we're trying to find this one here. These are equal, so the first thing, so as soon as you know an angle, guys, write it in. Like here, straight away, I know this angle is this plus this, 180 minus this minus this. Let's do that. 180 minus 65 minus 38. 77. So this angle is 77. I might even need this. I don't think I even do need it, but may as well just write it in. That's 77. This is 65 because this is an isosceles triangle. So these two angles have to be the same. If this is 65 and this is 65, this has to be 50 because these three have to add up to 180 because it's a triangle. 65 plus 65 is 130 plus 50. Okay, nearly there. Okay, yeah, so now I am going to use this 77, guys, because look, this angle here, this big angle, this big green angle, or if you want me to do it here so it looks a bit neater, that angle equals this angle. They're the same because these are, let me just show you like this. This is what we call a Z angle because these are parallel. So those two green angles are equal. So all I need to do is say 50 plus, let's call it X. Let's call it ABGX. 50 plus X has to equal 50 plus this has to equal 77. X is equal to 77 minus 50, which is 27. Okay, arithmetic sequence. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of this sequence. The nth term, I like to use this formula, guys. Some people can just write it out. Like the answer is 4n plus 2 because it's going up in 4s and I need to add on 2 to get to each term. But the way I like to do it is to write u of n equals a plus n minus 1 d. Now this formula is not in the formula booklet. It gives the sum of the sequence, but it doesn't give the nth term of the sequence. But I find this useful and I get my students to learn this formula. The first term is a, so that's 6, plus n minus 1 times d, which is 4. D is the common difference. And actually, sorry guys, normally over here I write a equals 6, d equals 4, and n equals, if we were trying to find the nth, a particular term, but we're just trying to find the nth term, so just n equals n, if you like. And then I can just multiply this out. 6 plus 4n, just be careful, we're multiplying this by this, so it's 4n, and minus 1 times 4 is minus 4. So it's 4n plus 2. Then it says write down an expression in terms of n for the n plus 1th term of this sequence. A little bit of a tricky one. You can see straight away that if this term is 4n plus 2, then this term has to be 4n plus 2 plus 4, because we're adding on another 4. So it's just 4n plus 6. You're just adding, to get to the next term, you add 4. Or, what you can always do is, once you have this, sub m plus 1 in for n. I think this might actually make more sense to you. So to find the 10th term, you sub in 10. To find the 20th term, you sub in 20. To find the n plus 1th term, you sub in n plus 1. So that gives us 4n plus 4 plus 2, which equals 4n plus 6. Question 8. Write this in standard form. Standard form, I need a number between 1 and 10, less than 10, 1.39. And I need to multiply it by 10 to the power of something. 10 to the power of what? Well, I go to 1, I go to where the point is, and I go 1. Hang on, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 10 to the power of 6. And then this guy, write it in standard form. So it has to be 5, again, a number between 1 and 10, by 10 to the power of, but this time it's a small number, so I go to where my point is here. It's like 5.0, so it's here, it's just after the 5, and I go back 1, 2, 3, so it's 5 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Question 9. Okay, now it's starting to get hard. The width of the pool is 3, length is 12, top of the pool is 2.5 meters. Okay, given. Jeb is going to fill or put water in the pool. The level of the surface of water, it will be 60 centimeters below the top of the pool, right? So he's going to fill it up to this height here. Let's just say something like that. So that's going to be filled with water. Let me just, might as well continue drawing this whole thing. Okay, so that's all filled with water. What is this height here now? Just from here to here? Well, it's 2.5 minus 0.6, which is 1.9. Use a calculator if you don't like that. Okay. Water flows into the pool at 400 liters per minute. 1 meter cubed is 1,000 liters. How long will it take to fill the pool? Okay, so the first thing I need to get is the volume when full. The volume is equal to 3 times 12 times 1.9. So this is a little trick they're adding, well, they're making the problem a little bit more difficult. It's not this times this times this, is this times this times this, because of this 60 centimeters thing. So the volume of water is 3 times 12 times 1.9, 68.4. The volume is 68.4 meters cubed. So 68.4 meters cubed, which is what in liters? So it's this times 1,000. So just to be very careful, times 1,000 is 68,400. 68,400. So it's that many liters. How long will it take to fill the pool to okay, sorry, it's flowing at 400 liters per minute. So how many minutes to do this many liters? Well, I just need to divide. So 6,8,400 divided by 400 equals, I'll just do this, divided by 400. This divided by 400, 171. So it's gonna take 171, be careful, minutes. So this is 171 minutes, and he wants in hours and minutes. How many hours in 171 minutes? Well, be careful. There is 60 minutes in an hour. So it's less than 3. It's 2 hours. That's 120. Remainder 51 mins. Just be careful, guys. Work that out yourself. So it's 2 hours, 51 minutes. Done. Question 10. Again, guys, I like to see these types of questions because they're familiar. You could practice 50 of these and then you can do them no problem. So I want to make something, either the x's or the y's the same. I'm going to make the y's the same because it's easy. I can just multiply the top one by 2. 6x plus 4y equals 30. Multiply everything by 2. Keep the bottom equation the same. Decide, do I add or subtract? I'm going to add because these signs are different. 16x 16x equals, sorry guys, I was thinking that didn't seem right. I took that down wrong. It was a 2. 16x equals 32. Divide across by 16, x equals 2. Then sub into equation 1. Or you can sub it into equation 2 if you want. I'm going to sub it into 1. So it's 3 times 2 plus 2y. I'm subbing x in there. 3 times 2 plus 2y equals 15. 6 plus 2y equals 15. 2y equals 9. And y equals 4.5, or 9 over 2. So it's 2, 4.5. Okay, question 11. Change a speed of 72 kilometers per hour to a speed in meters per second. Okay, so it's 72 kilometers per hour. That is 72,000 meters per, well, it's per hour, but how many seconds in an hour? Now guys, I know how many seconds are in an hour, and I'd advise you to know it too. But if in doubt, there's 60 seconds in a minute, and there's 60 minutes in an hour. So you just times 60 times 60, and it's 3,600. So we are going, if you were driving at 72 kilometers per hour, you're also driving at 72,000 meters per 3,600 seconds. But I want to find out how many meters am I traveling in 1 second. So I need to do, if I'm traveling that much in 3,600 seconds, I'm going to travel this much in 1 second. I divide by 3,600 to find out how much I get in 1 second. So it's 72,000 divided by 3,600, and it gives me a nice even number, 20. So the answer is 20 meters per second. Question 12. A company makes cars. In 2016, they made 350 cars. Underline that. In the first 6 months of 2017, the company made 25 cars each month. In the last 6 months, they made 45 cars each month. So why don't we work out how much they did in 2017? Maybe I should finish reading the question. Work out the percentage increase in the number of cars from 2016 to 2017, right? So that's fine. What I need to do is find out how many cars did they make in 2017. Well, they did 25 cars a month for 6 months. So 6 times 25, that's 150. And then they did 45 cars a month for the next 6 months. So 6 times 45. That is, again guys, use your calculator. I'm going to say it's 90 times 3, which is 270. So the total equals 420. So they did sell more cars in 2017. Now I have to get the percentage increase. What was the increase? So the increase was 420 minus 350 equals 70. So the increase was 70. They made 70 more cars in 2017. But I want the percentage increase. So I have to put 70 over, I do 70 out of 350, because the increase over the original times 100 to make it into a percentage, and that gives me, that's a fifth times 100, 20. So that gives me 20%. Again, guys, I'm doing a lot of these in my head. You can use your calculator, no problem there. Part B. The company's income in 2017 was 500,000 more than the company's income in 2016. The company's income in 2017 was 8% more than the company's income in 2016. Work out the company's income in 2016. Right, that sounds quite confusing actually. But the kind of simplified way to do it, or to think about it, is it said their income was 8% more. 8% more. And it says their income was 500,000 more. So what that's basically saying is 8% is equivalent to 500,000. And we want to find out what's 100%, because the 100% would be their income for 2016. So if I have 8%, how do I get 100%? Well, I say 1% is this divided by 8, and then 100% is this times 100. So I divide by 8, multiply by 100. Divide by 8, multiply by 100, and that gives me, let's do it, so it's 500,000 divided by 8, multiplied by 100, and I get 6,250,000. 6,250,000. Okay, question 13. More fractions. So each month, Edna spends all her income on rent, on travel, and on other living expenses. She spends a third on rent, a fifth on travel, and 420 of her income on other living expenses. Work out her income each month. Okay, so a bit of a tricky question, but the key is she spends all her income. So this is everything. She's nothing left. So a third on rent plus a fifth on travel. You can do this on your calculator, guys, but remember, they always want you to show working. So let's show our working, and this is 5/15 plus 3/15. I got a common denominator of 15ths, and then I did equivalent fractions. A third is 5/15, a fifth is 3/15, and that gives me 8/15. So she spent 8/15 on rent and travel. That means what was left to spend on other living expenses was 7/15. So 7/15 on other living expenses. Expenses. Okay, so 420 was 7/15. So 7/15 7/15 of total is 420. So that's the key. 7/15 of total is 420. Don't write 7/15 equals 420. That doesn't make any sense. 7/15 of the total is 420. Then I can just go 1/15, a bit like the other question. 1/15 is this divided by 7. So 420, actually I could have done that in my head, it's 60. Because if 7/15 is this, 1/15 is this divided by 7. And then I want to get 15/15, because that's the total, is 60 times 15. So I just do times 15, 900. So the answer, that's the final answer, guys. Her income is 900, and you can see if you get a third of 900, that's what she spends on rent. A fifth of 900 is what she spends on travel, and then this is 7/15 of 900, which is 420. Okay, not an easy fractions question at all, guys. Question 14. Okay, so simplify this. Right, rules of indices again, guys. You have to raise everything to the power of 3. So you have to go, I'll do one step, an extra step, guys. You have to do 2 cubed, e squared cubed, and f cubed cubed. They're all multiplied because they're all in the bracket, and it's everything in the bracket that's cubed. So this becomes 2 cubed is 8, 2 times 2 times 2. E squared cubed is e to the 6, and f cubed cubed is f to the 9. That's your third law of indices, guys. When you raise a power to a power, you multiply the powers, and you get this. So it's 8 e to the 6 f 9. Expand and simplify, right, guys? It's this times this, this times this, this times this, this times this. We've seen this question since probably some of you year 7, but still people make mistakes. So 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 3y is plus 9xy. Minus 4yx, minus 4yx, and minus 12y squared. We have to simplify. These two terms are like terms because it's 9xy and minus 4yx, which is the same thing. xy and yx are the same thing. So this becomes 3x squared plus 5xy minus 12y squared. 5 because 9xy minus 4xy is 5xy. Next question. This is going quick, guys. Not that it's easy. Okay, so more kind of rules of indices. We need to simplify this and just write it as a to the power of something. So he's basically asking, simplify this, and then what's the power? So root a times a. Root a is a to the power of a half. That you need to know. You need to know how to turn a root into a power. So a to the power of a half times a. You can think of that as a to the power of 1. That might help in a second. All over a to the minus 2. This equals, let's do the top first, multiply the powers. You start to multiply, you add the powers. So this is a to the power of a half plus 1 is 1.5 or 3 over 2. 3 over 2. So it's a to the power of 3 over 2. And the denominator is a to the minus 2. And this is the tricky bit, guys. We're dividing, so we subtract the power. So it's 3 over 2 minus, we subtract minus 2. But look, it's minus minus. So it's 3 over 2 minus minus 2, which is a to the power of 3 over 2 plus 2. Guys, again, I'm aware I do it quickly, but 3 over 2 minus bracket minus 2 is equal to 7 over 2. So a to the power of 7 over 2. If you prefer using decimals, of course, guys, you can. That's 1.5. 1.5 plus 2 is 3.5. So k is equal to 3.5 or 7/2. Last part of this question, and guys, this bit's hard because it contains a difference of two squares, which is something that students often don't see, and particularly this type, it's hard to even see that this is a difference of two squares. It's very hard to see it. So 4 to the power of n, I can write this as 2 to the power of n squared and then minus 1. I can write that because, hang on, let me, well, yeah, I can write that because let me show you. 4 is 2 squared, and I have 2 squared all to the power of n, because it's 4 to the power of n, 4 to the power of n. But using our rules, this is 2 to the power of 2n. I multiply the powers. And then I can just swap these. Instead of saying 2 to the power of 2n, I can say 2 to the power of n squared. That's the same thing because I would multiply the powers. So that's, let me just put this to the side, guys, so you can see it, but fair enough. If you didn't see this, that is perfectly understandable. So this, the numerator is still 2 to the n minus 1, and the denominator is a difference of 2 squared, difference of 2 squares, because it's this squared minus this squared. And the difference of 2 squares is, the rule is a squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. So I can write 2n, that's my a, 2n, plus 1, brackets, and then 2n minus 1, brackets. And then guess what? This is how I kind of figured out it would work out quite nicely. These two cancel. So I'm left with like the 2n minus 1 and the 2n minus 1 cancel. So I'm left with 1 over 2 to the n plus 1. I'll write it here. 1 over 2 to the n plus 1. Okay, that was hard, guys. That was a difficult question. Question 15. Okay, there are 2 bags of counters, bag X and bag Y. 20 counters in bag X. 11 are blue, the rest are red. Okay, this one I can do pretty quickly, guys. Look, if 11, the probability of getting blue is 11 out of 20. The probability of getting red is 9 out of 20. Then it says there are 16 counters in bag Y. 9 are blue, the rest are red. He takes a random counter from bag X and takes a random counter from bag Y. Complete the tree diagram, right? So we need to actually draw the branches, guys. And it is important that you put the probabilities on the branch. Some people put the probability at the end and it doesn't look good. So this is blue and this is red, blue, red. Now just be careful. This isn't like often you see the without replacement questions. So he takes out a ball and doesn't replace it. This is not that, because he's taking a counter out of bag X and then he's taking one out of bag Y, which has got nothing to do with bag X. So these two are actually going to be the same. The probability of getting blue here, which is 9 out of 16, that's exactly the same as getting a blue here. It doesn't matter if you've taken a blue or a red out of the first bag. You're then just putting that bag aside and looking into another bag. And then this has to obviously be 7 over 16 because these two add up to 1. So this is 7 over 16. Done. That's it completed. The question then says, work out the probability that the 2 counters are both red. So that means we need red, red. So this is just going to be the probability of getting red, 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 red equals, and I have to do this is part B, by the way, guys. I have to do 9 over 20, because we multiply along the branches. So 9 over 20 times 7 over 16, which gives me, let's use our calculator, 9 over 20 times 7 over 16 gives me 63 over 320, right? It did not simplify. 63 over 320. Part C. Work out the probability that the two counters are both red or are both blue, right? So that means, guys, either red, red, which is, or let's do blue, blue. The probability of blue, blue is equal to 11 over 20 times 9 over 16. So blue 11 over 20 times 9 over 16. That's this times this, which is 99 over 320. But the question says both blue or both red. So the probability both blue or both red, I have to add. Notice I say or. I add when it's or. So it's 63 over 320 plus 99 over 320, which gives me 162 over 320. 162 over 320. I'll write this down here, guys. 162 over 320, and this one was 63 over 320. Okay, question 16. Right, this, just by looking at it, guys, I can tell this is the intersecting second theorem. Now that theorem states that the blue times the total, the blue times this, let me just try and get beside it, not that, times this total length, this times this, is equal to the green by this total length. That's the second theorem. Let me actually draw that with colors. This times this, I'll put a times this equals green times orange. That's what the second theorem is. If you don't know that, learn it. It's a theorem that you just need to learn. Okay, so let's do that, and because it's saying show that all of this. So that looks confusing. Like, hang on, how is he going to get this? But all I see is a second theorem. Let's just apply this rule. So it's 12, because the blue length is 12, times the red length. The red length is 12 plus x. So it's 12 times 12 plus x equals the green length, which is x, times x plus 4. X plus 4. Multiply this out. 144, 12 times 12, plus 12x equals x squared plus 4x. Let's subtract to this side. X squared plus 4x minus 12x minus 144 equals 0. What are we trying to find? This. There we go. X squared minus 8x minus 144 equals 0. We'll put it on this side. Done. Sometimes I like to write, guys, QED, which means shown. Okay, part B. Find the length of AC. Show your work in clearly. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Right, guys, we have quadratic, and the length of AC we know is 4 plus x, so we need to find x. We need to solve this equation to find x. X squared minus 8x minus 144. Now when they say give your answer correct to 3 significant figures and show your working clearly, you can't just use your calculator, although your calculator can give you the answer straight away. You have to use the formula, because this is not going to factorize. Okay, the formula is x equals minus b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is in the formula sheet. At the side, what is a? 1. What is b? Negative 8. What is c? Negative 144. Sub this into the formula. I'm going to do it quickly, guys. You can obviously slow the video down, press pause or whatever, but minus b, minus 8 is plus 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared is 64. Remember, whatever b is, this is going to be positive because you're squaring it. Minus 4 times a is 1 times negative 144 all over 2 times 1, which is 2. So I have 8 plus or minus the square root of, let's do this, 64 plus 4 times 144, 640. It's plus, guys, because minus times minus is plus. So x is equal to, and I actually feel they haven't given me enough space here, but whatever. X, I'll write it up here. X is equal to, because x is a length, it has to be positive. Now x plus this is positive, but x minus this is actually going to give me a negative answer. So I'm going to have to use the positive one. So x is equal to, I'm going to actually calculate this, 8 plus the square root of 640 all over 2, which is this, which is 16.649, 16.649. But we don't want x, we want AC, because it says find AC. So AC is going to be 16.649 plus 4. So AC is equal to 16.649 plus 4, which is 20.649. 3 significant figures he wants. Let's go with 20.6. Okay, done. Question 17. Right, here we have a frequency table, and it wants us to draw a histogram. Okay, these can be a little bit tricky, guys. So we're going to draw the histogram. What's important to note is that the area of the bar is the frequency, not the y-axis. So what we do is we say the length of this, which is 20. So 20, let's look at this is just for the first one. 20 times, let's call this FD for frequency density. 20 times the frequency density has to equal 40. So that FD, that frequency density, equals 2. That is for the first, that is for this one. Frequency density equals 2. So I go to 20, which is here, so it's 10, 20, this guy's 20, and he's going to go up to 2. And that's the first bar, because I want to go from 0 to 20, so the base has to be 20, hence I did 20. The frequency density, I didn't know what it was, but I knew that this times this had to equal 40, because now I have an area of 40 in here. That's my 20 times 2. It's not 20 little boxes, but it's this length is 20, this length is 2, so that area is 40, and that gives me the frequency. The second one is going to be this length, which is 30, because 20 to 50 is 30. 30 times frequency density is equal to 90. So frequency density equals 90 divided by 30, which is 3. So now I go from 30 to 50. Here's 50. And I'm going to go up to 3. Again, my area, 30 times 3 gives me 90. Next one, this length is 50, because 50 to 100 is 50. So 50 times frequency density has to equal 140. Divide frequency density is equal to 140 divided by 50. Use your calculator. 140 divided by 50 is 2.8. So this is 2.8. So now from 50 to 100 here, this has to go to 2.8. 2.5, 6, 7, 8. And right across, they have to join. Okay, nearly done. This, now 100 to 300, this length here, the length at the bottom, the base is going to be 200. 100 to 300 is 200. So 200 times the frequency density equals 140. Frequency density equals 140 divided by 200. Let's do that. 140 divided by 200 is 7/10 or 0.7. So I need to go to 300 now, from 100 all the way to 300, and I'm only going to go to 0.7, 0.5, 6, 7. Try and be super accurate, guys. And then finally, this length is 50. 50 times the frequency density is equal to 40. So my frequency density is 40 divided by 50, which is 0.8. So 350, this guy here has to go to 0.8, which is actually just one more above the previous one. 0.8. There we go. So that is the histogram drawn. It takes a bit of a while, and it takes a bit of a while to get your head around this. But once you do understand this about area and just sort out these equations, it's actually not a bad question, and I think, look, it's worth 3 marks. I think everyone can get those 3 marks. Next one, question 18. Quadrilateral. Angle S or Q is acute. That angle's acute. Work out the size of angle S QR, this one. This is the angle he wants. Okay, so when I see this, first thing I think is, right, there's no right angles, so I can't use SOHCAHTOA. It has to be sine rule or cosine rule. So I look at this and I go, well, the first thing I think is he's obviously going to make me, it's a hard question, he's going to make me use both triangles. But imagine I didn't think of that. I'm thinking, right, let's use the sine rule. I can't use it because I don't know this length or this length. Cosine rule, again, can't use it. I don't have enough information in this triangle. So what I can do is find this length, let's call it x, and then I'll have more information that I can use, and I will be able to use sine rule. So let's find x using this triangle. How do I find it? Well, that is a classic cosine rule, because I have a side, I have the opposite angle and the two sides between, or I have the angle between the two sides, and I want to find the other side. This is a cosine rule. So I'm going to do x squared equals 8 squared plus 12 squared, a squared plus b squared. Actually, guys, I'll write the formula. The formula is up in the formula sheet as well. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. A in this case is x. So it's x squared equals 8 squared plus 12 squared, the two sides beside it, minus 2 times 8 times 12 times cos 120 degrees. X squared equals, let's work out all of this in one go. I'm going to do 8 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 8 times 12 times cos of 120, close the bracket, press enter, 304, exactly right. This is 304. So x, don't forget, guys, this is something that everyone forgets to do, square root this. So I'm going to get the square root of the answer, which is 17.4356. Let's say 17.4356. Don't round too much yet. That's x. So now I have this side. So I have this side, and this angle. I still can't get this angle yet, but what I can do is get this angle here. Let's call it theta. Once I get this angle, I can just do 180 minus these two, and I'm done. How do I get this angle? Using sine rule. So let me just draw a line here. Sine rule is sine theta, always start with the one you want to get, sine theta over x, so sine theta over 17.4356 equals sine 27 over 9. Cross multiply, sine theta equals 17.4356 sine 27. That's a multiply there. All over 9. And then I can just say theta is equal to, because theta is going to be the inverse sine of this. Let me put this over here. So it's the inverse sine, and I'll do this in one go. Hang on. Inverse sine is here, and I'm going to put all of this into, well, actually, guys, let me just do it to avoid confusion. So it's 17.4356 times sine of 27, all divided by 9. That's the same thing, guys, as all divided by 9. So it's 0.87951. 0.87951. Sorry, that's not theta. Just be very careful here. I was going to skip this step. So this is sine theta. Sine theta is this, which means theta is the inverse sine of that. So I'm going to do inverse sine and press answer, close bracket, and here I go. It's 61.583. 61.583. However, that's not what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find angle SQR. So angle SQR is then equal to, because this, guys, is now 61.583, it's just going to be 180 minus these two. So it's 180 minus 27 minus 61.583, which gives me let's do that. 180 minus 27 minus 61.583 gives me 91.417. 91.417. One decimal place, 91.4. Always, 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 guys, round to whatever it asks. Okay, nearly done. The curve shown in the diagram has this equation where k is a positive constant. Curve is a maximum here and a minimum here. Using differentiation, find the value of b minus d. So the difference between the max and the min. Right, this, guys, obviously is not an easy question and is worth 6 marks, right? So it's definitely not an easy question. Firstly, he wants us to use differentiation. I'll just do it here, guys, so I have space, but obviously you will do it here. So y is equal to x cubed minus 27x plus k. The derivative, dy dx, is equal to multiply by the power, subtract 1 from the power, minus 27, and the x disappears, and the k disappears. So that's the derivative. At the max and the min, at max and min, dy dx equals 0. So I'm going to say 3x squared minus 27 equals 0, which means 3x squared equals 27. I'll have to go down here, guys. X squared equals 9. X is equal to plus or minus 3. So a is equal to, which one is it, guys? Is it plus 3 or minus 3? Well, it's minus 3 because it's the one over here. The a is the x coordinate. The x coordinate is minus 3, and this guy's x coordinate is plus 3. So a is minus 3 and b is plus 3. But he wants the difference of b, he wants b minus d. So to find b, I'm going to sub minus 3 into y. Okay, let's do it here. To find b, sub in minus 3. So y equals minus 3 cubed minus 27 times minus 3 plus k. I don't know what k is. Let's leave it there for now. This equals, use your calculator if you want, guys, minus 27 plus 81 plus k, which is 54 plus k. So this is actually b. b is equal to this, because b is y. It's the y coordinate when x is minus 3. So b is 54 plus k. Find d. Same thing, but this time I'm going to sub in plus 3. So y is equal to 3 cubed, positive 3, minus 27 times 3, positive 3, plus k, which equals 27 minus 81 plus k, which gives me minus 54 plus k. And this is d. Okay, now you may say, but hang on, we don't even know what k is. But I don't care, because I am going to do b minus d. What's b minus d? b minus d is this 54 plus k minus d. Now just be careful, there's a bracket here. Minus 54 plus k, which is equal to 54 plus k plus 54, because it's minus k. These two add together, 54 plus 54 is 108, and k minus k is 0. They're gone. So the value of b minus d is 108. And there we go, 108. Okay, next question. Question 20. It says, given that h equals fg, given that h equals fg, express the inverse function h minus 1 in the form of this. So basically, find the inverse function of h. But to do that, let's first find h. So h is equal to fg. So h of x is equal to, I'm going to put g, this thing, into this. So it's going to be 1 plus 1 over, and instead of x, so f, guys, is 1 plus 1 over x. F of g is 1 plus 1 over this. So it's 1 plus 1 over x plus 1 over 2. So I've put this thing in instead of x, like this. Now this looks a bit, doesn't look nice, so I'm just going to make it 1 plus, when you divide by a fraction, you flip the fraction and multiply. So it's 1 divided by this is actually 1 plus 2 over x plus 1. That is, keep, change, flip. Like it's 1 divided by x plus 1 over 2 equals 1 multiplied by 2 over x plus 1, which gives me 2 over x plus 1. So that's h of x. Now to find the inverse function, we do this. We go let y equal 1 plus 2 over x plus 1. Again, guys, if you haven't studied inverse functions, you won't know what I'm doing, but if you have, hopefully this is familiar. You let y equal this, then you swap x and y. You say x equals 1 plus 2 over y plus 1, so you just swap them. And then you rearrange to find y. So I subtract 1, x minus 1 equals 2 over y plus 1. I'm then going to cross multiply. So this, think of this as one term. I'm going to multiply by y plus 1. So there's a few different ways you can do this, guys, and the algebra is a bit tricky, but hopefully you can bear with me. This is just cross multiplying. So y plus 1 equals 2 over x minus 1. I've just kind of swapped them. The same way you could say if x equals 2 over y, then y equals 2 over x. You're allowed to do that. Okay, let me get rid of that. And then finally, just subtract the 1. So y is 2 over, let me go down a bit, 2 over x minus 1 minus 1. So the inverse function, like this, can be written as 2 over x minus 1 minus 1. There's a few, I think there's another equivalent fraction given in the mark scheme. You could have done it slightly different, but that's I thought that was the easiest way to do it, even though I'm not saying it was easy. But yeah, look, that's a hard question, guys. That's question 20. And there's a lot going on. There's composite functions, inverse functions, and difficult algebra. Okay. 21. Show that x times x minus 1 times x plus 1 is equal to this, x cubed minus x. So you basically have to multiply out these three, multiply out the three brackets, and this is your answer. So you're not going to use this, you're just going to show this. So we're going to multiply this times this times this. Now you can multiply whichever ones first you want. I actually think I actually think we can multiply the x minus 1 times the x plus 1 first, because we know that's a difference of two squares. So that's actually x squared minus 1. Now you can also show why that's the case if you want, although you don't have to. X minus 1 times x plus 1 is equal to x times x is x squared, x times 1 plus x, minus 1 times x is minus x, and minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. The x minus x cancel, and we're left with x squared minus 1. And then this multiplied out gives me x cubed minus x, which is what they wanted to show us. Then part B, it says, sorry, what they wanted us to show. Part B says, prove that the difference between a whole number and the number of this, and the cube of this number is always a multiple of 6. Okay, so this, guys, is a follow-on from this question. So see, this question says x cubed minus x. Well, x cubed minus x is like a number. The difference, so that's subtract. When you see difference, that's what it means. The difference between 10 and 2 is 10 minus 2 is 8. So the difference between a whole number and the cube of this number. So the cube of its number minus x. The cube of its number minus x is equal to this, we know. So this is the cube of its number minus the number, or the difference between the whole number and the cube of its number. Anyway, this is equal to, we know this. This is x times x minus 1 times x minus 2. Sorry, x plus 1. So these guys are consecutive numbers. So as these are 3 consecutive numbers, consecutive means in a row, because it's x minus 1 and x plus 4. Pick a number. Look, if x is 10, then the next number is 9, and the next number has to be 10 plus 1, which is 11. So there are 3 numbers in a row, 9, 10, and 11. As they are 3 consecutive numbers, one of them, 1 has to be even, so it has to be a multiple of 2. A multiple of 2. And 1 has to be a multiple of 3. Because if it's a multiple of 2, if you either add 1 on or subtract 1, you're gonna get a multiple of 3. Let's just say multiple of 3. I'll give you another example. Well, let's say I have, I don't know, 16 is a multiple of 2. Well, the number after 16 is 17. The number before 16 is 15. This is a multiple of 2, and this is a multiple of 3. And that would work for any of them. So one of these has to be a multiple of 2, and one has to be a multiple of 3. Therefore, x cubed minus 3, or sorry, x cubed minus x must be the whole thing. If this is a multiple of, like, think of this now as one number. So your one number, I'll give you another example. Let's say 5, 6, or 7. Or, by the way, if the even number is a multiple of 3, then it's also a multiple of 3. But so this number is 5 times 6 times 7. It's the 3 numbers to multiply together. So if one of these is a multiple of 2 and another is a multiple of 3, then the whole thing must be a multiple of 6. Now, yes, guys, that's kind of hard to get your head around. Multiple of 6. But and I've written more than what they require. All they want you to say is, they want you to recognize that this is based off this. This is the cube number. The difference between a cube a number and the number cubed, and it is this. So they're using this to show this. Okay, done. Question 22. So we have a 3D shape, consists of a hollow sphere made of metal. Okay, so it's a sphere, like a ball, and it's made of metal. The diagram shows a cross-section drawn through the center O of the sphere. So basically, it's hollow in the inside, but it is somewhat thick. Like, think of it like a round Easter egg, and this is the chocolate bit. So this has some length, and the exact length will actually be, well, the small radius is 1.2, and the big radius is 1.2 plus t, because of this t here. Anyway, I think this is a tricky question, guys, just to warn you. So it says the internal radius of the sphere is 1.2. The thickness of the metal is t. The density of the metal is 2,700 kilograms per meter cubed. The mass of the 3D shape is 1,980 kilograms. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to write up here, guys, just so you can see what's happening. You would normally write down here. You can write here maybe, but I'm going to write here. So the first thing I want to figure out is the volume. Now we know density, well, we should know, is equal to mass over volume. Mass over volume. A nice kind of hinter, if you forget that formula, guys, is look, it says the density is 2,700 kilograms, which is a mass, per meter cubed, which is a volume. So density is mass over volume. We have the density, it's 2,700. We have the mass, it's 1980. And we don't have the volume. I'm just going to now call it V. If I cross multiply here, think of this as 1 if you like, V times this, and divide by 2,700, 1980 over 2,700. I might just do that on my calculator. So that's 1980 over 2,700 as a third. Okay, I'll leave it as a fraction, guys. It's 11 over 15. Simplified. Okay, so that is the volume. So that's the volume of this whole thing here, which is metal, or in my analogy, chocolate. Okay, it says work out the value of t, give your answer correct to two significant figures, right? The volume of a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. This is the formula in the formula sheet. Go up and have a look if you want, but that's it. Now that's the volume of a sphere, but the volume of our metal will be the outer. So let's do volume of metal is equal to the outer minus inner. So the outer is going to be the outer sphere, and the inner will be this sphere. We take this out because it's the hollow bit. Now the outer volume is going to be 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Now the r for the radius, the big radius, is going to be this distance here. Now what's that distance? Well, it's 1.2 plus t, because this tiny bit here is t, because it gives it there. So we have 4 over 3 pi r cubed, but our r is 1.2 plus t cubed, like that. That's my pi r cubed. Subtract my inner one, which is 4 over 3 pi r cubed, but my r now is just the 1.2. Okay, now we know that this equals the volume of the metal, which is 11 over 15. So I'm gonna write this equals 11 over 15, like that. Okay, now I'm gonna bring this guys down to here, and I'm gonna work on this equation down here. Let's just copy and paste it. Copy and paste. Now I have space. So now, guys, this is the hard bit. What I've done is the hard bit, creating this equation. The rest is just annoying kind of algebra and solving an equation, but I've done the hard bit. I've done the problem solving. This is just, well, it's just going to literally be adding, dividing, and getting the cube root. Anyway, it's a little bit tricky, but it's fine. So, first thing I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to move this here. So instead of having 11 over 15 equals this, I'm going to say this is equal to 11 over 15. And now it's basically like make t the subject of the formula. So how will I do it? Well, I'll go 4 over 3 pi times 1.2 plus t cubed equals, I'm going to add this whole thing on. So it's 11 over 15 plus this 4 over 3 pi 1.2 cubed. Okay, let's actually get a value for that. So 4 over 3 pi 1.2 plus t cubed equals, and I'm going to get a value for this so I don't have too many fractions and annoying things. So it's 11 over 15 plus 4 over 3 times pi, which is here, use the pi button, times 1.2 cubed. So this is 7.9716. 7.9716. Okay, now the 4 over 3 and the pi, let's remove that. So I'm going to, well, think of this is just a number. This is a constant. So I can divide both sides by this. So 1.2 plus t cubed equals this divided by 4 over 3 pi. Okay, calculator. This divided by, answer divided by 4 over 3 pi. And I get 1.90307. 1.90307. Then I need to, again, I'm trying to make t the subject, so I need to get the cubed root. I need to remove this cube first. Do not subtract the 1.2 yet, because that's in the bracket. That is also cubed. So it is 1.2 plus t is equal to the cubed root of this. So what is the cubed root of 1.9? The cubed root of 1.9 is cube root 1.9 is equal to 1.23856. 1.23856, and then t is going to equal this minus this. So it's let me just do that. This minus 1.2. I'm subtracting the 1.2 from both sides, and I get 0.03 0.03856. 0, 3, 8, 5, 6. Okay, so this is the value of t in meters, so be very, very careful here, guys. This is in meters, but t is actually, now that I look at this, in centimeters, so we have to be very, very careful. This is meters, so it's this many meters, but he wants it, well, he actually doesn't say, so you could put it, and he wants it to two significant figures. You could put it as t equals 0.039 meters. Look, he hasn't put the units there, but the fact that it's actually t centimeters here, I'm thinking let's put this in centimeters. And how do I put it into centimeters? I multiply by 100, because there's 100 centimeters in a meter, so it's 3.9 centimeters. Okay, obviously, guys, that's not an easy question. It's the second last question in the paper, possibly the hardest one, because I think this last question isn't as bad, but yeah, fair enough, hard question. But I think if you go step by step, pause this video if you need to, try and just understand every single step, you can pick up marks. Like, it's a 5-mark question, so just recognizing that would be 1 mark. Setting it equal to 11 over 15 is probably 1 mark. Yeah, getting the volume to be 11 over 15 is probably a mark. So always don't just leave a question blank, try and do your best, and you'll earn some marks. Okay, last question. As I say, this one, I don't know, I don't think it's that bad, but I'm happy for you to disagree with me. Right, so it says work out the sum of the multiples of 3 between 1 and 1,000. So that's basically saying what's the first number between 1 and 1,000 that's a multiple of 3? What is 3? What's the second number? 6. What's the third number? 9. What's the fourth number? 12. And then we're going to just keep going on. What's the last number? Well, maybe this is the hardest bit of the question, or although I don't necessarily think it is. The last number is going to be 999. Now, how do I know that's a multiple of 3? Well, look, it's 999. 333 times 3 is 999, so it's kind of obviously a multiple of 3. But if you're not sure, try 1,000 divided by 3. 1,000 divided by 3 doesn't work, or at least doesn't give me a whole number. Try 999 divided by 3, and you get the answer. If that wasn't one, you'd go again, divided by 3. Okay, so this is the last number. So the sum of this is the sum of an arithmetic sequence. Now we have the sum formula, S of n is equal to it's n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 d. This is in the formula sheet. Again, I don't want to scroll all the way up, but you should have your formula sheet and you should be able to see this. So to find S of n, we need to just decide what is n, what is a, and what is d. Once we have the kind of sequence, a is the first term, it's 3. D is the common differences. What are we going up in each time? Well, it's 3 as well. I add 3, I add 3, I add 3. That is the D. So D is also 3. Finally, what is n? How many terms are there? Well, okay, maybe this is the tricky bit, but if you think I'm going up in 3s and I go up to 999, so if I actually just divide 999 by 3, that will give me how many terms there are in this sequence. So it's actually 333. Because I'm going up in 3s, I just divide that by 3 and it gives me the number of terms. And now all I need to do is sub these numbers into the formula. So S of 333, which is the sum of the first 333 terms, is equal to n over 2 into 2a plus n 333 minus n minus 1 times d, which is times 3, close brackets, and then just put that into the calculator. Let's do it over here. I can do 333 over 2 brackets 2 brackets 3 plus, you can even, that's obviously 332, but let's just do 333 minus 1, close brackets, open brackets, 3, close brackets, press enter, and I get 166833. 166833, and that is the answer, guys. 166833, and that is the paper done for 100 marks. Yeah, not too bad, guys, but obviously some tricky questions. Right, we're done. I'll see you for paper 2.